Okay, let's see if this works. No, wrong. Here we go, Alan. I think we're going live. It's working. It's going. I think it's going. I think it's working. There's it. Oh, there we go. There we are. So here we are, Alan. We're live, but you can't see us yet, so it's a surprise. It's gonna
live stream.
So there you go. This is brought to you by Heavy Montreal, July 28th and 29th. Maybe you want to read that, Alan, just to promote it.
Heavy Montreal, July 28th to 29th at the Parc Jean Drapeau here in lovely and beautiful Montreal. Live stream will be starting soon. Please stand by. This is not technical difficulties.
This is reality.
We are live here at the Metal Studio,
Okay.
the Metal Voice Studio.
Yep.
That's currently under renovations.
That's right.
So,
and you'll see us briefly. So there you go. Heavy Montreal, 28th, 29th of July, 2018, Parc Jean Drapeau in Montreal.
No idea who's showing up yet.
No idea
no
yet.
No announcements made.
So since the stream
as soon
has
as
been
we
started,
have it,
and there we are, Alan. Here we go. You ready?
As soon as we have those lineups, we'll be passing that on to you.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to, as always,
Yep.
Heavy Montreal.
Heavy Montreal. There you go. One more time. Let's
Not
keep promoting
Heavy
it.
MTL. No.
No, they're not paying us, by the way. They're not paying us. We're just doing
Montreal.
this to help promote them.
Right. As always.
So
we just want to promote the bands.
To be clear, we're just promoting the event. No one's paying us.
Okay,
nothing.
Jim, let's get down to it. Jim, here we go.
Here we go.
It's, what are we in our 16,000th season or something like that? And
yes.
This is a show that Jim's always wanted to do, being the huge and massive Kiss fan that he is.
Yep.
This is Jim's, he's almost got an erection at this point because he's so excited. He's so excited.
So let's just see how excited. There I am.
There you go.
There I am.
That was
and that's not Alan there. Well, it could be. We could say. We could pretend.
I didn't know you were going to do that. I could have brought my pictures.
Of Kiss?
Who are you, Gene? That's you?
That's me. I'm Gene.
Oh, I was Gene too. For some reason, I was.
So then it wouldn't work.
Gene.
Just wouldn't work, Alan.
No.
So here we go. All right.
That's very well
So it's been a long time, Alan. Long time coming. And right off the bat, just so everybody knows,
Jim is all excited.
We are not talking live.
No, we're
okay?
talking studio.
We're talking
album.
simply studio. So yes, to everybody, this is an amazing album. Probably one of the first albums I got by then. Then I bought Kiss.
That's a great studio album.
It's a great studio album. Yes, I mean it's fantastic, and I love the audience. The audience is like
yeah.
The whole album.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, so
That's
you ready for this?
it was the same audience on Peter Frampton's album.
All right, here we go, man.
Okay, Joe. You know what, Jim? You're gonna drive this show because you're a massive Kiss freak.
Yeah.
But you might lose everybody with your first choice of the top 10 here. I'm just going to throw that out. Stand by.
Just creating the right expectation, Alan.
Here we go.
Creating the right expectation.
This is where everybody switches off. As soon as you hear this is Jim's number 10. And I'm deferring all these choices. Let me be clear on this. Crystal clear, in fact.
Yes.
I am deferring all this to Jimmy. So
Yes. Well, actually, what we did is...
I agree with a lot of this.
We went to the people.
We went
to our friends.
We went to...
And I kind of went to you to lean on you.
A long-time viewer, Stiff Rod.
Stiff Rod.
We know he's the only guy that might be as close to you as being a Kiss fan.
That's right.
So we got his input.
Good Stiff Rod.
And it was a little bit of a consensus to get this list together. But saying that, number 10 here that Jim's about to announce.
All right, here it comes.
That's strictly and solely his choice. That's him.
So here we go. And there's rationale behind it.
We're gonna hear that.
Let's go here. Let's go here. Number 10. Is everybody ready for this? Number 10. Just getting the graphics ready. You ready for this, people? Here it is. Oh. There it is. Oh, Alan. Yeah. Shockwaves through the Kiss community. Shockwaves. Why did he pick the Elder?
Why did he pick? I've been questioning that.
Alan goes to me, Jimmy. Why? Yeah. Why? Even Stiff Rod didn't.
You had me until I saw that. The rest were okay. I didn't have any problems with. But you're gonna have to explain yourself.
The Elder. Okay, so Kiss has evolved. Let's look at Kiss's evolution as this.
Evolution. Oh, okay.
Let's look at Kiss from the early years. They were this hard rock, Alice Cooper type sounding 70s hard rock band. Then they kind of went a little more heavy metal, we'll call it.
A little bit more disco. Let's go disco.
No, not yet. Not yet. First they're hard rock, heavy metal. Okay. Then they went to their disco era.
Okay.
And, Unmask, real disco happening here, right? Still good songs. And then they have to like go back. Wait a second, what are we going to do here? Let's go progressive rock, and that's what I am. I'm a progressive rock
Where
fan.
do we go here? All our fan base has grown up now, and now we're out of. And no, let's be honest.
That's it.
Jim,
Exactly.
That's exactly what happened. They grew up, and then Kiss was not cool anymore.
Yes.
Because they were, and they didn't help themselves with Dynasty and Unmasked, and then Peter leaving the band, who was extremely popular.
Yeah.
So this was a little bit of a down period, I would say, Jim, for them.
Number 10, they're trying to get away from the disco image that they built. And, I Was Made for Loving You
Cut
and
their hair.
Shandy and cut their hair. And apparently they couldn't tour. The album did terrible. But if you look at the songs and you grab them song by song, they're really stretching themselves as a band, as artists, and as musicians. And you look at...
Stretching themselves.
Yes.
Did Ace even play on this? Let's be honest. Did he even play on this?
Yes, he did. Dark Light.
Okay, one song.
Dark Light, and he plays acoustic guitar, I think, on A World Without Heroes. Look at Dark Light. Fantastic Ace song. A World Without Heroes. Great. I like Mr. Blackwell. A lot of people don't. Just a Boy. I am just a boy.
Okay. Yeah,
Do,
I
do,
believe
do,
it.
do, do. Odyssey and Only You and the great song I that they still play today. Once in a while they throw that out there. So when you look at the whole album, it's unorganized. The original version, by the way, the record company mixed up the tracks.
What were they doing? What were they thinking? This was supposed to be a concept album.
And they mixed it all up.
You can't mix up a tracks on a concept album.
However, the re-release and the remaster put it in the right sequence.
Oh, well, that helps.
Put in the right sequence.
Maybe, okay.
All right.
Let me take a step back from everything you just said.
Okay.
Another huge Kiss fan, my friend George.
Yeah.
They lost him on this.
Okay.
I mean, this was a complete embarrassment. They had no idea where they were going, and he was a bigger Kiss fan than you. Okay,
Sure. Yeah.
And his friend Hercules.
Oh, Hercules.
Yes, Hercules and George, two Greeks like my friend Jimmy here, and they couldn't understand this at all, Jim. So I'm going to always refer to the pros, the specialists, the people in charge, and so I'm taking those guys' comments back in 1980, 81. Their comments at that time were like, this. So the word overreaching comes to mind here, Jim.
I don't know. I think they were overreaching on to me where they lost me. I did like Dynasty. I mean, even though it was half disco, half rock.
Yeah, but
they lost me on Unmasked. Then it was like, okay, they were great songs, great pop songs. You knew they sold out, right? And they lost me already. But then I saw the hand. I saw the hand, Alan.
Oh, you saw
I saw the hand on the door.
And this whole concept behind the hand. Right? They did talk about it being a concept.
So it is a concept. The plot is revolved around the boy.
The boy, not the elder. The boy.
Who's recruited and trained by an organization called the Council of Elders. A secret society. Secret society. Part of a larger group called the Order of the Roses, whose sole objective is to combat evil superhero style. So... there you have it.
Gene's comic book influence, and you know what? Let's be honest. They got Bob Ezrin back. They said, "There we go. We got the Destroyer team back together. This is going to make millions. This is what we need." And Bob, I think he's come out and admitted, and I know Gene certainly did in his book. That Bob was still under the influence of some chemicals at that time, so it maybe didn't come out quite the way they wanted. But glad that everything came together on Revenge. So.
And he's the producer of The Wall. When you think of The Wall, I think what this album does lack, and I'll be straight with everyone, it's sort of the mix isn't right. Like if you listen to the song I, like the chanting chorus, it's just way louder than it should be. This album should be remixed and maybe redone. And yes, it does need, there are good songs that needed a better production. And Bob Ezrin, who did Destroyer, who did Revenge, right, like you said, and this was Eric Carr's first album as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Peter Criss was
I love this, Jay. I love the comment. Tom E. writes in, "See you later." So we already lost Tommy. Tommy, at the very sight of the Elder cover, Tom E. is gone. He's gone. I'm not spending any more time invested in this episode of the Metal Boys.
All right, we needed to talk about this album a little bit more than all the other albums because it's a special album. I like it because it's different Kiss. Kiss always plays the hard rock, the same lyrics more or less. At least this was different. They were stretching. Vocally, World Without Heroes to me has got to be one of the top 10 greatest Kiss songs ever written, in my opinion. In my opinion, especially as a ballad. And Lou Reed actually helped write that song. So there you have it. Here we go.
Wow. Lou Reed, great.
And Deanne. Deanne says hello.
He did a great job with Metallica. We're so impressed that Lou Reed co-wrote that.
1981, music from The Elder, number 10. Now let's go to number 9. You ready for this one, Al?
Okay, Jim.
Here we go. Let's go. Let's clean up the. Let's ready. So we got number 10
get that
there.
one off of there.
Here we move that off for Alan, and here we go. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Ready for number 9?
Sure.
Number 9 coming in. Dressed to Kill.
Now, none of them own suits.
Yes.
So you can see how some of these are a little tight fitting in. I mean, Gene's pants there go up to about his knees on this. So that's what I've always taken away from this album is how comical the album cover was.
Actually, I'll
let you elaborate.
You're almost correct on this. Everybody but Peter Criss owned a suit. So actually, they're borrowing Bill Aucoin's suits.
There you go.
And of course, like you said, the Gene Simmons, if you look carefully, they are floods.
Yeah.
We used to call them floods.
Flood pants.
It's produced by Neil Bogart, the president of Casablanca.
So Neil decided he's taking over. He's got the reins. I mean, this is all in a lot of numerous Kiss books. And
yep.
No one in the band actually owned a suit. We know that. But see, what I take away from... we'll get to... Okay, go ahead. Of course, Rock and Roll All Night was on this.
I want to ask, actually...
When it came out, did absolutely nothing for the band. Nothing.
Yep, and
right?
Again...
Here's their biggest song ever in the history of Kiss. And it was released, and this song did very, very, very little on the radio. They had to wait for the live version to come out, right, Jim?
Yep, exactly. And money was tight. It actually did worse... Or actually, money was really tight. They were investing a lot into this band.
Yeah.
They were getting much return, like you said. And the finances were really bad. So they needed a hit. And hence, Alive came after and broke the band, right? Go. And Rock and Roll All Night, like you said, wasn't really the hit at the time. It was only a hit afterwards, right? The live version.
Yeah. So you like this Rock Bottom is one of your favorite songs on that? You thought that was good?
To me, I always thought Room Service
Not as good as UFO's Rock Bottom. But
Room Service never got its justice as a song. I think it's a cool rockin' song. Of course, two-timer, Rock Bottom, which is And She, right? Which is some
1975.
All right, 1975, that was their third album. You ready for number 8, guys?
Number 8.
All right, here we go. Let's go back to the special effects. Special effects. Here we go.
Bye-bye, Dress to Kill.
Bye-bye, Dress to Kill.
Hello.
Goodbye, and here it comes. You ready for this? What do you guess? Well, you don't have to guess because you know. Boom. Hotter Than Hell.
Yeah, that's for me, that's like one of the worst album covers ever, personally.
A little note, Ace Frehley was recovering from another car accident.
Oh, yeah.
And he's actually airbrushed.
Was that his 15th by then? Or
He was airbrushed his face on that album. And look, if you look at the Japanese writing on top, the Japanese writing actually says, on the top right, it's Hell's Shout, or Shout of Hell.
Okay.
And, of course, this was a darker album. Again, it didn't do as well as the first Kiss album.
Classic 70s rock. Classic. It was unbelievably classic.
I mean, look at songs like Hotter Than Hell, which they still play, right? Parasite, which was covered by so many bands. Let Me Go Rock and Roll All the Way, and Going Blind, which is a lot darker of a song, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's a good album and definitely deserves to be in the top 8. Any comments, Alan?
John, this was their second album, I believe.
It was the second album, yeah.
And everything that Kiss was about is on this album. Going back and listening to it, the production is the production.
Mm-hmm.
It's a typical 70s, early 70s sounding album. We can see where it's not too sophisticated, right?
Not at
they
all.
never were.
Yeah.
But some good songs on there.
Yeah,
some really good songs, and it showed what the band was about. I with hindsight being 2020, I think this represents what Kiss was all about at that time.
Yeah, and this is probably when Peter and Ace were their happiest, right? They were part of a band. They were part of taking over the world. They felt that they had a lot of input. They were bringing the songs. This is before the lunchboxes.
They didn't have a lot of money for their indulgences to go to the next level, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Ace wrote 3 songs off this album.
There you go. They always pushed him. They always pushed him. Even they wanted to be the Beatles. They wanted all 4 to contribute.
Yep.
And I think they were a little jealous of Peter's voice. If you listen to some of
Peter's got a great voice.
He does have a great voice.
A very raw, Rod Stewart-ish, but at the same time, very unique tone. Okay. So here we go. We're ready for number 7 now. Everybody ready for this? Let's go back to the graphics, the CGI. Here we go. And It's debatable, this one. You ready for this?
I'll
Number
go.
7, Kiss.
There you go.
The first album.
The very first album.
Look at that makeup there on that
Yes,
first
it's
album.
quite, that's from Batwing, a dark character in the comics called Batwing is where Gene's got his. Star Child.
And then you have Ace.
Peters was really different on that. He found out pretty
talked
fast
about
that he
that, didn't
couldn't
he?
spend hours doing it exactly.
Look at that, look at that, look at
a
that.
bit like a clown.
Look at that, look at that. That's like some detailed.
But I mean,
artwork on
that
his
you know,
face.
you got the black. That's like the Meet the Beatles, right? The same kind of thing where they all were in black, and that showed. And you know what? Going back, Jim, for the first album, this is a great album.
It is. It's exactly what you said before. It's raw. It's everything that Kiss is all about.
But it got plus all the songs that 10,000 Year, Black Diamond, Douche, Strutter, songs that they still play today. I mean, that's how Cold Gin, which one of Ace's
covered all the time.
Favorite. What I want to bring to the table here is what I'm impressed at. You got Kiss in '74, and this is how things were done back then. The first album in '74, you got to go out with your second album right away in '74, and your third album was in '75. And then people say, well, the quality's not there. Well, yeah, no kidding. You try writing 32 songs in less than a year.
Yeah.
All the bands, BTO burnt out that way.
Yeah, good point.
CCR.
Yeah.
CCR was around for 4 years.
Yeah.
The classic songs that you can play, they must have, 30 classic songs?
Yeah.
And that was all done within a 4-year time period.
It's incredible. And I guess
it's like ride these guys into the ground, get our money, and then move on to the next guy. And
But
little did they know that 50 years later...
Philippines. So Clark says, hi from the Philippines. For me, very artistic. Deanne saying, first album cover is classic, beautiful, but worse than the first Ramones.
Oh.
And, Tom points out something really cool.
Tom's back in?
Tom's
Tom
back.
Ridley. Tom giving us a second chance.
Tom, Kissing Time. The song Kissing Time.
Yeah, they didn't want to do that, right?
They didn't. Actually, it was recorded after the album was recorded. They put it in, maybe hoping they could get a
That was
single.
the showmanship in the Neil Bogart. They said, you guys
yeah.
try this out. This will be tie-in good. And they hated it. I mean, I don't think and it didn't really work.
No, and they had that promo where they were kissing or some crazy.
Eugene enjoyed that, I guess.
Yeah, Eugene enjoyed that, and so did Paul. Strutter, from the Wicked Lester years, a Deuce, a classic, and Gene claims that he doesn't even know what the lyrics are about.
Yeah,
and he's worth a deuce.
And you got songs left over from their first band, Wicked Lester.
Yeah.
So you got songs like Stephen Coronel, who was in Wicked Lester. He's credited on some of those songs. On this album. That was nice of them.
Yeah. And
I don't think that would happen today, but that was nice of them at the time.
So let's do it. Let's move on to the next one. Let's go.
No, but again, so when you look at how this was crammed in less than a 2-year period, let's say, from start to finish, pretty impressive song.
So let's move on. Okay, so that was number 7. Number 7.
No, 6. Sorry.
Number 6. Here it comes, and this is like a turning point once again.
Another turning point.
And I'll let you speak to this. Okay, here you go.
Oh, you're asking.
Lick it up, baby. Lick it up.
So Gene was completely against taking off the makeup, so that's why he's got his tongue out. He's holding on to one thing from the old band because it's only him and Paul at this point. So he stuck his tongue out on the album cover.
There it is.
That's about all I can contribute to.
And it kind of looks weird if you don't have makeup on, right? It's kind of like, hey, why are you sticking your tongue out?
You're out at this point. What year is this one? 83. So almost 10 years down the road, of going way out of their ways not to get any pictures taken and covering their faces up all the time. And that was a whole, Secret Service kind of atmosphere around them, and the paparazzi was trying to get dozens of photos of them without their faces. So Mr. Vinnie Vincent.
Yes, Vincent Cusano.
Yeah, is officially a member.
Yeah, but he would never refuse to sign his contract, and that was the whole problem. They go, sign it. He goes, I don't know about it. Sign it.
We're going to see how this plays out.
Sign it. And he wouldn't sign it. That led to his
demise. You guys are pretty low on the band chain at this point because, the LA scene was exploding at this point, right? I mean, you had the hair metal guys out there. And they were Kiss was not growing up in the mid 70s. Okay,
yeah.
They were. Look at this. This is unbelievable. They got all the young kids' imagination. So you're 11, you're 12 years old.
Yeah.
And now this comes out in 1983, and you're 21, 22, and you can't go around saying you're a Kiss fan. Not that it was cool back in the 70s necessarily, but it was even worse in the beginning of the 80s. You had Iron Maiden out there. You had Motley Crue starting. Now Motley Crue was more dangerous. So they said, okay. And where does Kiss all of a sudden fit into all this, right?
I think this is the biggest point right here. You've raised the best point. So you and me were 12 years old, right? 11 years old.
At one time, yes.
The lunch boxes with Kiss. And it was our first introduction to Kiss. And many people's first introduction to Kiss was in their early teens or even before your preteen years.
Oh, I don't think I was even 10 years old.
I was probably, when I bought Kiss Alive, it was probably 1977, I believe. What was I, 8?
Probably.
8, 9, 10, you know.
Math's never been as strong.
So we bought this at a young age, and there's the Kiss lunch boxes and the thermoses, Kiss dolls.
I always wanted a Kiss doll, the big one. You know?
And it became like a sort of a comic book thing to like. And then exactly what you said, you start hitting your teenage years, and it's like, I don't like Kiss. And it was kind of like, ugh, Kiss. It became, you know, as you get older as a person, you start saying the things that you liked as a kid, you don't want to like as a teenager because you're rebelling now, right? So we kind of rebelled against Kiss. I remember people throwing the Kiss records, saying, I hate Kiss, and the Kiss Army was like freaking tanking. And it was just a complete disaster after.
Well, you know, saying that, Jim, there were diehards like yourself.
Yeah.
Like Stiff Rod. Stiff Rod is
Good old
still
Stiff
buying.
Rod.
He bought every album of the 80s he had. You weeded out the posers. That enabled Kiss, the true hardcore Kiss fans and the Kiss Army, stayed there throughout the 80s and allowed them to go on. And then everybody else got back on the bandwagon. So maybe that was a good thing that they weeded out the posers and said, look, guys, we're still around. The makeup's gone. Great songs. And this was, in the 80s, that was Paul's era. Paul took over the band. Gene was elsewhere. Gene had other priorities. But Paul was the driving force, and you can see that in the lyrics and the style of music. He became the ultimate frontman in the 80s. So
and then Lick It Up is exactly what you said. So
very subtle title.
Let's say the masses disappeared, and you just had the hardcore following, you know. And then suddenly, you know, the big gimmick was we're not having makeup, we're taking our makeup off. On MTV, they expose themselves, and everybody went wild, and with some great songs as well.
Oh, it's getting hard, right? Now you got an Egyptian in the band, right?
That's
an
right.
Egyptian pharaoh. And,
That's
okay, what other characters can we have?
The fox.
A rabbit. The next guy could be a rabbit, because Vincent won't sign his contract. We'll get a rabbit in here.
So here you go. All Hell's Breaking Loose. Incredible song. Lick It Up, Exciter, 1,000,001, Young and
a fox
Wasted.
chasing a rabbit. That would be good, eh?
The biggest disappointment on this song is, and on the 8th Day, that's like the biggest cheese song ever written. I mean, okay, guys, you could have left that off. It's just, you know, this biblical hard rock and roll kind of thing just doesn't work. I mean, just should have left it off. But overall, number 6, Lick It Up, that's their 11th
I'll take
album.
Your word for it. Jim, I don't think
1983.
I've never listened to that album in my life.
Okay. But you remember the era.
I remember the era. I can add my 2 cents to stuff like I can give you the big picture, Jim. You go in for the details.
We need the big picture, Alan. That's what we're here for.
Now you get into stuff.
The big picture. Now we're getting into what Alan likes here. Here we're at number 5. You ready for this, Alan?
The stuff I can relate to a little bit more.
Now, you know, we're talking, if we want to explain this era, Nirvana's, you know, coming in, or no, maybe it was before Nirvana. Things are getting a little more grungy.
Let's start with what year this is.
This is 1991.
I would say Nirvana, yeah. You're right.
Nirvana's coming in, grunge. Things aren't slicked up. The hair, which was
Stanley's
up, now
out
it's
there.
down.
Paul Stanley's touring with his solo band, the Paul Stanley Band.
Yeah.
Eric Carr, unfortunately, is recovering from cancer.
Yeah.
He saw Paul Stanley Band play live. He goes, oh my gosh, they got this guy on drums called Eric Singer. He's going to be the next drummer of Kiss.
Yep.
I'm out on my butt. And unfortunately, that's how it played out with Eric and Eric Carr not being able to perform.
Yep.
But he did perform on Every Time I Look at You. Do you remember that video? No, is that Forever? Sorry,
Forever. He had a wig on or something. Yeah.
But they did do a nice. They gave the kind of a sound check jam.
Yes,
with Eric Carr doing a drum solo, and dedication to Eric Carr because he passed before this album was released. They actually put that Carr Jam, 81 or something,
and they removed Ace Frehley's guitar work and they put Bruce Kulick's on it.
Already, they were starting that back then.
And a big thing, Bill and Ted's Bogus Adventures. You know the song God gave
Academy Award-winning movie.
God gave rock and roll to you again, throwing the biblical cheese into rock and roll. Yeah, catchy, but you know
the harmonies playing.
It's. I think if they would have changed the lyrics around, it would have been one of the biggest.
Okay, Jim. Look, this one I can talk about. This album.
Talk about it. Talk about it. Alan. Say it. Say it.
I'm going
to
go on record here.
Yeah.
As saying as the only Kiss album that I have ever purchased in my life is Revenge.
And I guess it's your top album since it's the only one you purchased.
No. But no,
it says something.
I like Domino. I like
Domino.
Thou Shalt Not Take It Off. You say you think that's the worst song? I thought that was great. What is it?
Take It Off.
No, what's the one? Every time I look at you, there's a great power ballad. I thought that was
that's a good song actually.
What's the one with the I just want to forget you. Right? Forget You's on there. Right?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You're the Kiss fan.
You're the one with the Domino. You're the guy with the
I just want to. You didn't put that up there?
No, because it sucks. That's why.
He's a Kiss fan. He's a Kiss fan.
All right, so take it.
I just want to I just want to forget you. No? That doesn't ring any bells. No bells whatsoever.
Domino is the best song off the album, and Unholy is a great song too.
No, but it was the time that Gene's back in. Gene is in 100% on this album.
Yeah.
Love him, hate him, whatever. They needed him on this. He was in his glory. He got the beard happening, a little goatee, the hair. He looked more evil than even when he had the kiss makeup on, right?
Yeah.
And they were still cool. Gene was not out there promoting diapers or anything. I mean, he was still.
Alan, I'm going to be right back.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about Revenger for a sec because I got to get a battery.
So, since I'm the Revenge specialist, and Jimmy doesn't even remember half the songs, I mean, no, but again, and Eric Carr, who's done lots of good stuff. He was in Black Sabbath prior to this Black Sabbath with Lita Ford. He was a little drummer for hire, Badlands. A lot of, kind of a drummer for hire. Got his first chance to stay there. He's been there ever since. And Vinnie Vincent co-wrote some songs. They gave him another chance. They did. They called
signed a contract.
Vinny, we had some good songs with you. Come back, do some writing. The Vinnie Vincent implosion.
Yep.
How comical. Implosion didn't really pan out the way old Vinny wanted, so they got him in. But you have lots of filler on this album, and I disagree. I think, and Bob Reznor's back, and he's sober.
Yes.
He's sober.
And actually, this album sounds pretty damn good. It's a lot better than the other
version, it's a great sound. No, that's and again, that's one that I guess if there is such a thing, I got my juices flowing again for Kiss. So I enjoyed that album.
So we're ready for number 4 now.
Now, evidently, Jim's not as excited about Revenge as he was.
I'm letting you take it. I'm letting you take it away with Revenge. I have a hard time with Revenge, but I agree. A lot of people love it. I know you love it, so therefore it should be there. How's that? But I like,
What about Stiff Rod? Did it make his list?
Stiff Rod?
Yeah.
I think it was on Stiff Rod's list.
Of course it made his list, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
You're supposed to be the Kiss fan.
Number 4.
Creatures of the Night. It was nice for Ace to show up for the photo.
Loud, yes.
Because that's probably the only thing he did on the album, probably.
What a great picture. I mean, what a great. I mean, and Paul Stanley said this. He goes, "If it wasn't for the Elder, there would have never been the Creatures of the Night." So I mean, it's.
Yeah, because it
flopped. Think about it.
They might have got a whole other path. They might have been on Broadway by the time the Elder succeeded.
Eric Carr kills it. I mean, talk about the behind the beat drumming on Love It Loud. I mean, I Love It Loud is probably the best, one of the top 10. We should do top 10 Kiss songs, by the way. That would definitely be in the top 10 list, very high up in the top 5. A War Machine.
Forget you.
Watch out.
Deanne remembers that song. Thank you, Deanne, for writing in.
You better watch out. A War Machine, Creatures of the Night, Keep It Coming, Danger, and I Still Love You. It's just a power ballad, which is like friggin' incredible. Great sounding album. Producer is Michael Jackson, not the Michael Jackson, but the producer Michael Jackson.
James Jackson, because Gene suggested he change his name to avoid any type of confusion with that other guy.
Look, Vinnie Vincent, uncredited guitarist on this album, once again.
Well, yeah, did Ace do anything on this?
I don't think so.
I think it's on record that he did one solo, maybe. He was completely... I think he was in his home in Connecticut, barricaded in his home in Connecticut, but he was, again, Ace was completely over this. He's like, what the hell are we doing now,
You know, it's great. I watched an interview, and actually, if you go on YouTube and you type in Kiss Creatures of the Night interview, there's this 30-minute long interview with the band. It's Creatures of the Night. They know he's out of the band. Yeah. And their faces. And Ace is like, just... The great thing about Ace is he was honest. We're just four guys and four clowns in makeup. And then Gene's like this. Paul's like, don't say that. Like, they are. They're just, it's just a fun thing. But the guys were so damn serious.
Always, and you know what? I think everybody...
That's why everybody loved Ace.
That's exactly right. He was, he was one of the true rockers.
Yeah.
He proved that with his solo album.
Yeah, yeah.
Saying that we made this a true collaborative Kiss top 10, and the solo albums were not included because Jimmy did have Ace's solo album.
Yes, it was up.
10.
Yeah.
I would have put Paul's in the top 10.
And I figured, you know what? Let's save that for another discussion. Yeah. Which of the best Kiss solo albums was...
Well, it's going to be a short discussion. So
It is.
Okay.
I mean, but we'll argue. But
so Creatures of the Night, that's something that, after The Elder, they had to come back strong.
Yeah.
Eric Carr, they let him shine. Because I don't know what the drumming was like on The Elder, but I think it's pretty muted compared to this.
Peter Criss,
they let him go on
It's Anton Fig who actually plays on The Elder.
Oh,
yeah. Peter Criss is kind of like outs it by then. He's not there.
Yeah, he's outs it for sure.
It's interesting because if you listen to the drumming of
Apparently
Peter Criss...
he was outs it on Unmasked as well.
I love it.
It's a musical,
But Peter Criss...
turnstile of musicians on every Kiss
And
album.
again, I'm not a drummer, okay? But listen to, he plays before the beat, sort of like ahead of the beat, where Eric Carr plays behind the beat, more like John Bonham.
Behind the beat. I think they were lucky if Peter finished with the others.
Yeah.
Started and finished at the same time.
Big album. It's sad that Ace doesn't play on it, but nevertheless, a big comeback for Kiss.
In Europe,
and by the way,
I think this was huge in Europe.
Yes, I think so too.
Everything's huge in Europe.
And actually, on the same note, in the same interview I saw, this is the first time Kiss referred to themselves as, get it? We are heavy metal.
Oh.
That's the real first time it really came out.
I would say that's accurate for that time.
Because
82,
heavy metal's coming out. So what does Gene Simmons say? We're heavy metal.
Yeah.
And on the Dynasty eras, we're disco.
Shandy.
Actually, Shandy was huge in Australia.
Of course it was.
Massive.
So another trip on a Bobby.
And that's... So here we go.
Is it Shandy or Sheila? Sheila's huge in... She's a Sheila.
We call that the backbeat.
Good day, mate.
All right, here we go. So where we go? Number 3. Now we're cooking.
So this... But Jim, just before you click...
Yeah, go.
Creatures of the Night gave them a little bit of a reprieve, a little bit of a breather. For the fans that are disappointed, like you said, from Dynasty on through... And they give us a reason to still like you because we're fighting for you and everybody's laughing at us and you guys are finished. And this, there we go. Now we're going to take, nobody can make fun of us with an album like that out there, right? So
how's this? Back when I was a young lad and Creatures of the Night came out, I was like, I don't like Kiss anymore. I don't like Kiss anymore.
Sorry, I got so excited. The house show.
I go, I don't like Kiss anymore. And then I heard,
was earth-breaking news.
Then I heard I Love It Loud and I go, maybe.
And can I just add a few?
Maybe I like them, but secretly like them.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell anybody. All my guys, all my friends.
What are you talking about? You were out there with your Elder shirt, looking at everyone. Look at Elder. I'm the Elder. I'm the boy.
I just didn't tell anybody. I liked it. And I go, Creatures of the Night is a good song too. Shh. Don't say that.
Brian Adams and Jim Vallance wrote
yes
a lot of the songs on there. That's their Jim Valance's team. Of course, a partner to Brian Adams. So they went and got some song doctors in on that album as well.
Dr. Love. Here we go. You ready for it? Yep. Number 3. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. By the way, Ren does not like Shandy, and I Was Made for Loving You is disco music. Ha 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 for sure. Actually, half that out. We'll talk about the crappy albums after. Here we go. Boom! What an album cover.
Number 3? Yeah.
Number 3. What an
You bought it just for the album cover, didn't you?
Look at that. Look how amazing. What beautiful artwork that is.
Yeah.
Sort of Kiss, those comic book heroes and the slaves to Kiss.
1977.
Beautiful.
Okay, so this guy...
Okay,
we'll get to it later. Never mind.
This
was one that I picked up. And
so you own this one too. So this.
Yeah, I know this one. Yeah,
you know
Love
Gun. You ever hear that album?
I like this. I'm very comfortable with this being at number 3. Very, very, very comfortable. I think this is a great album.
Rock solid.
You Pulled the Trigger.
Yeah, I Stole Your Love. Shock.
I Stole Your Love. You talked about the top 10 Kiss songs. That's in my top 10.
'Cause I stole your love.
That's great. I can't. How can you not move to that? How can you not hum along? Tomorrow, tonight.
Tomorrow.
I love that. Tomorrow. No, sorry, I hate that one. I like Sure Know Something off of Dynasty. I thought that was a good song. I thought that was a really good song.
Sure know
Yeah,
something.
I Tomorrow and tonight. I hate that song. Hate that song. That one should have been left alone.
I'll tell you.
And then they do a Beach Boys song. And then
No,
I
it's not
kissed
Beach
her.
Boys.
Yeah.
Is it
It's
Beach
Beach
Boys?
Boys?
But they reversed gender.
Okay, well,
reversals.
Beach Boys
No.
did a song.
Yes, it was
Okay,
the
look
Beach
that
Boys.
up.
who
I'm
wrote
sure
it.
it's the Beach Boys.
It's not the Beach. Maybe they
And then
covered
she
it.
kissed me.
It's a gender reversal because then he kissed me. They changed it into then she kissed me. And even Paul Stanley has said that he's not too comfortable with. He loves the song, but he doesn't think Kiss should have covered it. Tomorrow Tonight has got a rockin' 60s sort of groove like that. And Christine 16, a little piano, a little boogie, fantastic song. I Stole Your Love, What You Love. And here's the big one.
Shock Me.
Shock Me.
That was the hit off the album.
And
Ace
his quirky voice and his
I
great
tell
solos
you.
and great songs.
They tried, according to Gene, he tried to get Ace to write more. But Ace was not a prolific writer, but it was quality.
Yeah.
Gene was prolific, but very questionable when it came to the quality side. So I think that's the Shock Me was a huge hit for Ace.
Huge.
Gave him the confidence going into the solo albums
Yeah,
that he
yeah.
needed. And it's based on a true story, right?
Shock Me.
He got shocked during a concert, right?
And
That's what he
another
wrote about his experience.
underappreciated song is a Hooligan. Peter Criss does the vocals. You know, it's basically
What's Love for Sale? Because Ren Zenith likes I Got Love for Sale.
You got love for sale.
What's that one?
You got love for sale. That's
And
what it
thank
is.
you, Diane Carlo. She's just plugging along. There's a lot of good stuff. Love Gun is her number one.
Yeah, actually, a lot. Stiff Rod, I think it was number one, right? Love Gun.
Could very
Stiff
well
Rod,
be. I
Stiff
think
Rod,
so. Yeah,
Stiff Rod.
yeah,
It's
it's
number
true.
one.
Stiff Rod had Love Gun at number one because he's a drummer. So I think it's the da 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 in Love Gun that.
And the song Love Gun itself, you know, which probably is played at every concert, right? Every song.
Love Gun.
And you know what we have to also give credit to? Gene and Paul's voice. My God, these guys can really, really sing. They're true singers, you know?
You bring up a good point there because you look on the early Kiss albums. It's like, Paul, have you ever been in a studio before? Do you know how a microphone works?
Yeah, it's true.
And you see then with Bob Ezrin coming in and the Destroyer picture, you can see where they carry this. And Eddie Kramer produced this, which Ace adored Eddie Kramer. Ace thought he was the best producer because they just let him go. Press record and do your things. Tweak this. I'm pressing record again, and we've got the take. Whereas Bob Ezrin was driving them crazy, especially Ace and Peter, trying to get this technically perfect.
We'll get to that.
But I just wanted to bring
that.
this. We're talking Love Gun. Eddie Kramer was behind the success of this album, according to Ace.
And again, if we want to just go chronologically, this was a more stripped down version than other albums that would before this, and we'll get to that. So this is the perfect mix and sound between raw and polished, and that's what Love Gun sort of represented.
Yeah, that's well said. Because it's not as polished as some of the other albums.
That's right. And now we're getting into number 2. Here we go. You ready for this, Alan?
Yeah.
I mean, do people think this is going to be Unmasked? It's not Unmasked. Here we go. You ready? Here we go.
Dynasty.
Boom.
Boom.
It looks like a game board, doesn't it?
I don't have a problem. I really don't have a problem with this, Jimmy.
What a great album cover.
Okay, so now you're getting into how I was first introduced, besides the Paul Lynde Halloween special.
Oh, Paul Lynde Halloween
That was the
special.
first one.
Kiss and Make Up.
Had a cousin from Detroit. Came up here in the summer times. He brought up this album.
Here's some props.
This album. And he brought up another album. Mm-hmm. And this was actually a coloring book, and you had to color this in. And he was telling me, we were, 9 years old? What year is it, 76, eh?
Yeah.
So we were very young, and he's telling me, oh, this new band, Kiss, oh, they're the greatest. It fits in what we were saying earlier, right? We're 8, 9 years old, and this guy's from outer space. He's a spaceman.
This guy's a beast.
And this guy's a cat. And this guy's a star child. And this guy's a demon. Look at this, he's a demon. And he spits blood. And he vomits fire. And this is a band. And they're the coolest thing. This is Kiss. And he's coming from Detroit, right? Which is like the hippest happening place in the whole Midwest. And I'm stuck up here in Montreal going, what is this?
Do you remember the TV commercials for rock and roll all over my Kiss? If you actually go to YouTube, when we were kids, right?
Yeah.
Like 8, 9 years old when this album was released, I bought it, right? I think this was my first Kiss album.
There you go.
And the commercial was something like this: rock and roll all over. They call me Kiss. Rock and roll all over. That's how it kind of went.
So then later on, when I was a little older, in the early 80s, some friends got into Kiss.
Yeah.
And we went back and we visited the catalog because we were not listening to the Elder, unlike some people. So we went back and listened to Rock and Roll Over and some of the classic ones of the 70s. And you're saying, oh, yeah, okay, I understand what Kiss was about. Some good songs on there. But this is a great album. I mean, Calling Dr. Love, Hard Luck Woman. That show Top 10, I'm telling everybody right now, that song's making my top 10 Kiss song.
Ladies' Room, and I love Baby Driver.
Love 'em, leave 'em.
Baby Driver, Peter Criss sings it. I think that's probably one of his best vocals.
I want you.
Making Love, an amazing solo by Ace. It's a great album. It's start finish. There's no real weak tracks on this. And this was actually recorded in a theater because before this they were too polished, so they wanted to get something more stripped down.
Eddie Kramer on this too, right?
Eddie Kramer on this too. Yeah. The drums were recorded in a bathroom. There was a recorded in a theater. But Paul Stanley, at the end of the day, he loved the songs, but he said, man, the production really didn't turn out the way I wanted to. He was never happy with the production. I like it more rock and roll, more like the first 3 albums, but a little more, of course, a little bit better in terms of playing and songwriting skills. No songs written by Ace, surprisingly.
Which song is I'm a Dancer and Romancer, She's a Capricorn and He's
That's
a
off
Cancer.
the first album.
Yeah, I always thought it was off of this one for some reason. What is that song?
What song is it? Is it Got to Choose?
No. It's off of this album.
It's not off this album. No. We'll find it later. It's off the first album. Anybody out there
Can't form a top 10 right now, but some of my very favorite Kiss albums include the first one, Destroyer, Lick It Up, and even Asylum. That's J. Tom's.
Yeah, so let's go to the top album that we think, and probably the world thinks, is probably the best representation.
Except for Stiff Rod. Stiff had
Love Gun, yeah, so we can't go with that. So, boom, there it is. Look at that album cover. The explosion, the guys coming at you, running, the characters. And then when you look at the album cover and you hear the songs, it sort of translates the same way. You start off with Detroit Rock City. It's not only is it it's like an epic song, right? A big theatrical.
The car crash. You have to have the car crash.
The car crash starting off with Rock and Roll All Night, right? They're bringing in the choirs. Do You Love Me? A Great Expectations.
So basically, Live was released, right?
Yes.
And where do we go from here? Let's get Bob Ezrin. Let's polish things up, like you said.
Yes.
And if you're gonna steal from the best. Alice Cooper is the biggest band in the world.
That's right.
Right up there with Led Zeppelin.
Yep.
So there you go. Go get Bob Ezrin and some of the guitarists with Alice Cooper played on Dick Wagner.
Yep, he played on a lot of the songs.
There you go. All right, you're gonna steal.
And it was boot camp. It was Kiss boot camp, like you said before. Yeah. He was working them. This is where Ace was going.
Yeah. I don't want to do this solo 32 times.
He couldn't keep up. Love Ace.
King of the Nighttime World.
And actually, that was a cover.
I'm going to tell you my top 10 right now.
That was a cover. That was a cover. King of the Nighttime World.
Great song.
Even though Paul Stanley gets credit for it.
I was convinced they wrote that.
It was actually by who was it?
Because I'm the king of the nighttime world.
It was a cover. Hollywood Stars. And to me, the song that never really made it sort of like a top 10 hit was Shout It Out Loud. I always thought Shout It Out Loud.
Love it. Top 10. I can tell you my top 10 right now. That's on my top 10.
Okay, then we're getting into Beth or Beck.
Beck. Beck.
It was actually more of an upbeat song.
Becky.
It was an upbeat song that was a very vengeful type of song, and then it turned into a Beth, more of a ballad. Paul Stanley, in his book, what does he say in his book, Paul Stanley?
He hated the song.
No. That Peter Criss never even wrote it, or even barely wrote it. It was more of his writing partner, which was Stan Penbridge, who actually penned it, But then again, that's we don't know the truth there.
Bob Ezrin, and this has got a little bit of the bee in the bonnet, and might be one of the reasons Paul wrote that.
Yeah.
Bob Ezrin loved Peter's voice. Loved it. Thought he had a great voice. Thought he had the best character of the voice. He should be the lead singer in the voice. And they let the rest of the band say, "What do you mean you're gonna put no guitars, no drums? You're just gonna put an orchestra? What is all this about? You're gonna embarrass us? This is not what we're about. We're Kiss." And of course, and now Peter, God bless him, still holds over the other two guys the fact that the only number one, so the highest charting singer that they ever had was his song "Beth." So
Such a good, and the rest of the band always pissed off about Ace's album always doing better and more critical acclaim than their albums.
Oh, yeah.
They just can't take it. But you feel bad for Paul and Gene because they write all the stuff, right? I mean, without them,
well, look,
it'd just be two songs per
I
album.
named you like 5 out of my top 10. They were all written by Peter and Paul, I should say, and Gene. Yeah. So I mean,
Beth written in the band Chelsea, right?
Chelsea.
Was it Chelsea or Chelsea?
Chelsea. Okay, Jimothy.
Anyways, again, rewrote it with the New York Philharmonic Orchestra. Do You Love Me? Great Expectations, Flaming Youth, Sweet Pain, God of Thunder, and of course with the kids in the background, those sound bites. And of course Detroit
That's Bob
Rhapsody.
Ezrin's kids, by the way. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I it's creepy as hell, right? And then Gene coming in like the larger than
It was
life.
Paul that wrote it.
I don't remember.
Yeah, Paul wrote it, and he was going to sing it. And Bob said, "No, this has got to
Gene's
be
song.
Gene. Gene's got to sing this." And that's why a lot of people relate it to Gene, right? Because it fits him 100%. If there's ever a song that fits Gene Simmons in the catalog of Kiss, it's definitely "God of Thunder."
So there you go. That's
Detroit Rock City.
I mean, and let's end off with.
But hey, look, "Do You Love Me?" We didn't touch that. Talk about
Do You Love Me?
You know, they're starting to get the fame.
Yeah.
Do you love me for who I am, or do you love me for everything I represent and
The
all
limos,
these nice limos and
the clothes, and it's a great song.
You like the way the wheels roll.
It's a great.
You like
song.
my 7-inch leather heels, and going to all of the shows. But
do you love me? Okay, so
really love me.
that is the greatest.
Okay, Great Expectations of what you're singing, because somebody on YouTube they wrote in the worst song ever written.
The choir, I love it. I think Great Expectations is great. It just flips the whole album around, right?
Again, we're talking about our top 3, Jim, all done within a period of 76 and 77.
Yeah.
So 3 of the top Kiss albums on our list was written in a very short span. Again.
Yeah.
So if we're looking from 74 to 77. Yep. That's 6 albums plus probably the 2 live albums.
So let's talk about the
Unbelievable.
Tankers. The guys who didn't make the list or maybe could have made the list. And what do you think? Okay, so I said The Elder. Okay, but a lot of people would disagree. They'd say The Elder should not.
About 95% of the people, Jim. Yeah.
Maybe because I'm a prog rock fan and I like quirky stuff.
Oh, it's prog rock now, is it?
It's prog rock. It's quirky, and I like
Gene's
different. I like a little
rocket.
change, right? And then you have. Let's see. Here we go. Here's.
Psycho Circus?
Psycho Circus.
Oh, you like that?
What was wrong with this album? First of all, they didn't write it as a group.
So what are we doing? The worst albums now?
Yeah, we're throwing out the albums that, what the hell happened? I mean, this was the reunion album. It did well, but then again, I don't think...
He's got them all.
Other than this cool little thing here, I mean, the songs were pretty lame. I mean, yeah, sure, there was some great songs like Psycho Circus and, was it Within? Is that what it is? The Gene Simmons one? And Pledge Allegiance. It's like, oh God. And then actually Ace's song, I think it's Into the Void, is fabulous. It's the best song on this album, but not really.
Tom, who refuses to sign off, we thought we lost him at the Elder. He's politely requested.
No, this is J. Tom's.
Sorry, let me finish.
Always thought.
Let me finish here.
Finish.
That he was politely asked us to stop singing.
Every dog in the neighborhood is running. And and this is the same guy who did the Rock and Roll All Over cover.
You got them all, Jim.
Michel Dorette. Dorette.
I'm an animal. When lightning strikes, what is this, a Loudness album?
You know why Sonic Boom never really became a critically acclaimed album? Because you have Peter and Ace, and it's not Peter and Ace. It's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. Two guys dressing up like Peter and Ace, and then trying to... Yeah.
There's Tommy Thayer. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, and then they're trying to play like
they're
that.
Characters, Jim. They're portraying a cat and a spaceman.
Oh my God!
We own the rights to the characters.
That's it. So, and what other album?
Okay, but I just want to say that Dynasty, no matter what everybody says.
Let's talk about Dynasty. I have it over there as the album.
I would not have had a problem being on the top 10 Kiss album, because when you go back and listen to that, you can literally hear Ace frantically trying to hold on to the rock and roll roots on that album, right? You got the Rolling Stones cover of 10,000 Man, right?
I'm just bringing up Dynasty.
Sure Know Something. It might be a little poppy, leaning towards the disco, but it's a great song. It's a catchy song.
I'm going to bring up Dynasty, the track list, okay?
Okay.
I agree with you.
Okay, I Was Made for Loving, undisputed. Paul is on record of saying, I went to a disco club, probably Studio 78 there in New York. Everybody's grinding, everybody's on the dance floor, and all it is a heavy beat song. He goes, I can do this. He literally went home and wrote it in 2 minutes. Biggest hit, one of their biggest hits ever was written in 2 minutes. So we know that's disco.
No. It is disco. It's got a disco drum beat, and that, you know, and of course they were trying to like ride the disco wave. But I was Made for Loving You. I do like the song. I mean, secretly back
it's a good
then,
song.
it's a good song. It's
2000 Man. That's Ace.
Love it. Love
classic
2000
Stones. He's doing. Sure Know Something, like I've been over.
Disco.
No, it's a catchy song.
It's a catchy song, but it's disco. It's disco. And you know what? In a way, it's kind of like, why did they do this? They could have just left it at I Was Made for Loving You. Dirty Living. Yeah.
Peter's voice is great on that song.
Peter's, what is my...
That's Lylan's always. But it's catchy. You have to admit it's catchy. When you hear Charisma, no matter how bad that song is, you can't get it out of your head for 15 minutes afterwards.
And she's got the magic touch. That was, again, going back to the disco. Like, they're trying to cash in on disco. Ace, again, Hard Times. Yeah. Great
rock and
song.
roll. Rock and roll.
Yeah.
And so Ace is coming out of this with the success and the confidence from his solo album. He wanted to leave probably after Love Gun. They said, no, we're going to do solo albums to keep you in. What's this one? You're on Unmasked there.
Yeah, I'm bringing up Unmasked for a reason.
Ace is like, you know what? If I'm going to stay in this band, I'm going to do it my way. And while they're out exploring whatever the latest trends are, he's being true to himself. So hats off to Ace on that one.
So I want to talk about Unmasked. So when Unmasked was going to be released, nobody knew about it. Nobody knew what the album cover was going to look like. Everybody thought at the time, holy crap, they're going to unmask. On the album cover, they're going to unmask. But it was just a cartoon pretending that they were going to unmask, and they didn't unmask. Now they went from a little bit of disco and pop to a lot. Even though the songs are not that bad on the album. I do like the songs. Is That You? Shandy, big hit in Australia. Talk to Me. Love that Ace Frehley song.
That is a good song.
Talk
Ace,
to me.
Again, Ace being true to what it's all about. He's not going down the path the other two were exploring, right?
Torpedo Girls, another Ace song, which is great at two sides of the coin. Again, but, you know, it does have a pop vibe to it, a very disco. They're trying to ride, again, that pop vibe.
Jay Toms, who refuses to log off here, says, I always said no disco song had a killer guitar solo like I Was Made for Loving You has.
All right. So, I mean, just looking back at I just want to go touch again on the solo albums. We could just have a quick discussion on that before we log off.
Really, Jim?
Actually, you know what? Before we talk about the solo albums, we'll talk about that on another episode. But let's just talk about Alive 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I mean, Alive, there was a symphony. But we'll leave that off because it was just symphony. So 1, 2, and 3. 1 being the big studio album. Why was it so successful? Because the first 3 albums were poorly recorded, and finally they have sort of like they redid it the right way on Alive, and they recorded them in the studio properly.
Yeah, that's right. There's no qualms about it. They said, you know what, that's still a great album, no matter how we came about doing it. That's what you have to kind of figure out.
Alive 2, you know, there's one side that's studio.
Yeah.
And
3 that are
and Bruce Bob Kulick, who actually plays on that part, and Ace, you know, he's like, I don't want to play. But Rocket Ride,
Derringer's in there too.
I think so. Rocket Ride, incredible Ace song, off the charts again. You know, it just makes that whole album Alive 2. And actually, I liked Alive 2 a lot better than Alive 1. And then there was Alive 3. And again, now this is another era of Kiss, the 80s era, with Creatures of the Night, with Domino, with Unholy. Another great live album representing another era of Kiss, the best of. So definitely pick up those. That's pretty much it. Again, this show was brought to you by...
Heavy Montreal.
Coming Montreal. Next July 29th. That's it. So that's it, guys. We're going to leave you here.
You want to go? Psycho Circus is a great song. Diane Carlo.
Yep.
She's She's been watching the whole show. Hats off to you, Diane. I don't know how you lasted this long.
I'm having a trouble lasting.
Can't remember the name. Okay.
All right. Chris, Klaus Isaac, Ren.
Great show,
Ren
guys.
Zenith.
Thank you, Ren.
Great show, guys. Yeah, thanks, guys.
So, 2000 Man is great. I like Ace's song on Unmask. That's what Jimmy said. Talk to me, right?
Talk to me.
Yeah, but Ace was probably mentally gone by that point. He was no longer in the band.
Yeah,
he lasted around for his paycheck.
They were trying to please him by letting him be more creative, but as much as he was creative, the more he was like having car accidents and driving Porsches into walls and trees. And
it was either him or Peter literally had a car accident in their garage.
Yeah.
In their garage, they had a car accident.
In their garage.
Yeah. So.
All right, that's it, guys. We're going to be working on another top 10 list right now after this, not live, and we will see everybody soon, and we will talk to everybody soon. All right, Alan, any last words?
Rock and roll all night and party every day.
Let's not even get into the devil horns.
Yeah.
Who invented that?
Dio or Gene Simmons or...
It's another debate. All right, later.